He snarled, "Bibi Netanyahu's trial should be canceled immediately." That single pronouncement roared across the headlines, electrifying political circles around the globe. A former president of the United States, known for his unapologetic bombast, had openly demanded that the Prime Minister of Israel be spared from his ongoing corruption trial. On the face of it, this sounded like an extraordinary breach of protocol, a brazen intrusion into Israel's judicial process that left experts and observers absolutely stunned. How could one political figure, even one with such a towering persona, storm into another nation's courtroom drama and demand its swift closure? And what did this reveal about the deeper dynamics of power, influence, and enduring loyalty between these two global personalities? Welcome to our deep dive into the tumultuous world of international politics, where unexpected alliances and fiery declarations keep us on the edge of our seats. Today, we're peeling back the layers of this sensational call to pardon or cancel the charges against Benjamin Netanyahu, a leader entangled in a swirl of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust allegations since 2019. Why would the former American president, known for championing the slogan, "Make America Great Again," suddenly declare it is the United States that should save Israel once again, and specifically its embattled prime minister? Let us uncover the answers that promise to reveal more twists than a summer blockbuster. In this exploration, we will dissect the explosive statements, examine the high-stakes legal battle Netanyahu has faced since the trial began in 2020, and delve into the precarious cross-examination that has escalated tensions within the Israeli political sphere. We will also investigate the reasons behind Trump's bold claim that this entire affair is nothing short of a witch hunt reminiscent of his own clashes with the legal system. Along the way, we will unravel the curious backstory involving accusations of bombings, nuclear threats, and a dramatic shift in Trump's rhetoric about Israel's recent military actions. Prepare yourself, because the drama is only just beginning. Before we plunge deeper, let's revisit the core facts. Benjamin Netanyahu, often called the warrior by his ardent supporters, has been indicted on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. These allegations revolve around claims that he accepted lavish gifts from wealthy businessmen and attempted to manipulate media coverage in exchange for political favors. Since the trial commenced, Netanyahu has maintained his innocence, denouncing the Israeli judiciary as biased and part of an orchestrated campaign to bring him down. Yet many wonder how his largest and most vocal international ally ended up proclaiming that the case be thrown out altogether. Donald Trump's involvement in the Netanyahu saga took center stage when he posted a message that struck like lightning. Standing behind his favored nickname for the Israeli leader, Bibi, he blasted the trial as an insult to a deserving hero. While some dismissed his statement as typical Trump bravado, others saw in it the potential to ignite a fierce debate over sovereignty, international alliances, and the role of presidential pardons. After all, the Israeli President Isaac Herzog, and not the American government, holds legal authority to pardon Netanyahu, and so far, Herzog has revealed no inclination to exercise that power. Trump's push never strayed far from his signature style, direct, unfiltered, and loaded with big promises. As the dust settled from his charge statement, questions swirled. Did Trump truly believe his voice alone could sway Israeli legal proceedings? Or was there a deeper strategy at play? Critics pointed out that Trump has often railed against what he labels politically motivated prosecutions, especially when reflecting on his own experiences, from impeachment battles to investigations into his campaign ties. By standing up for Netanyahu, the former president could be drawing parallels between the Israeli leader's struggles and his own storied battles back home. This rhetorical move might also resonate with those who see both figures as symbolic gatekeepers of conservative populism, besieged by the so-called establishment. However, Trump's call to cancel Netanyahu's trial was not the only bombshell he dropped. Seemingly in the same breath, he remarked that it was the United States of America that saved Israel, and now, by extension, would come to Netanyahu's rescue. Many interpret this reference to saving Israel as pointing to the former president's unflinching support for Israeli security operations, especially during tense standoffs with Iran. From endorsing contentious airstrikes to withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal, Trump displayed a deep commitment to defending Israel's strategic interests. Yet, his critics argue that publicly taking credit for rescuing an entire nation crosses a line into grandiosity, overshadowing the diplomatic complexities that require more than a single figure's bravado to resolve. It was then that a startling contradiction emerged. Barely a day before calling for a pardon for Netanyahu, Trump shifted his tone and issued a rare scolding of Israel's recent post-ceasefire strikes on Iranian targets. He claimed that Israel dropped an enormous payload of bombs, describing it as the largest such assault he had ever known. This abrupt shift from championing Israel to chastising it baffled analysts and supporters alike. Was it a calculated strategy designed to show the world that he could remain critical of any administration, even one he traditionally backed with unwavering enthusiasm? Or was it simply Trump's unpredictable personality, capturing headlines with every contradictory phrase? If you find these questions intriguing and want to stay on top of shocking revelations like this, feel free to give our discussion a like. Every bit of support helps us dive deeper into these global stories. For Netanyahu, the stakes could not be higher. The trial has entered a grueling phase of cross-examination that could stretch on for an entire year. Witnesses, documents, and potential new evidence all loom on the horizon, each threatening to unearth damaging details. In the background, there's also the perpetual tension over how Netanyahu's supporters will react if the legal pressure intensifies. From peaceful protests to heated demonstrations, a segment of the Israeli populace remains steadfastly behind the man they believe has brought strong leadership and security to a nation contending with ongoing regional volatility. The possibility that an ex-United States president might intervene, even symbolically, adds a surreal element to this unfolding political saga. Adding to the sense of spectacle is the Israeli President Isaac Herzog, whose power to pardon Netanyahu remains a compelling wild card. The Israeli media quotes Herzog as saying that a pardon for Netanyahu is not currently under consideration, nor has any official request been made. Some Israelis still recall notable instances in history when presidential pardons were deployed to heal national disputes or diffuse political crises. But would that approach truly serve the country's best interests today, or would it ignite an even larger blaze of controversy? The notion that the politics at play could overshadow the rule of law raises uncomfortable questions about the future of Israeli democracy. Trump's impassioned stance aligns with his repeated condemnation of what he deems politically orchestrated judicial assaults on him and his allies. During his time in the White House, he employed the phrase witch hunt to describe investigations directed at him, from alleged relations with foreign operatives to questions over his tax returns. By painting Netanyahu's trial with the same brush, Trump effectively places them both in a shared narrative, embattled leaders who are persecuted for their convictions, yet determined to fight for the people they represent. This formula resonates strongly with segments of their respective bases, fueling an us versus them dynamic that keeps supporters fiercely loyal and detractors firmly opposed. Still, many in Israel are skeptical. They point out that Trump's dramatic promises, while entertaining, may not carry the weight to sway the intricacies of the Israeli judicial system. Legal scholars emphasize that, in a democracy, even the most influential politicians must answer to the courts, and no amount of external bravado can simply erase formal charges. Moreover, Trump's emphasis on the United States having saved Israel could be interpreted as oversimplifying a complex history of alliances, diplomatic negotiations, and domestic defense initiatives. Though American backing has long been pivotal, Israel has navigated challenges from regional conflicts to internal reforms through its own political resilience. Any shift in that balance might raise more questions than it resolves. Beyond the theatrics of high-profile declarations, there is a deeper conversation about the nature of leadership in a rapidly changing world. Netanyahu's political success has largely hinged on his hawkish stance on security, compelling oratory, and ability to forge coalitions. Trump's meteoric rise was defined by his flair for business-style deal-making, an unwavering refusal to bow to convention. Put those leadership styles together, and you get a partnership that once seemed unbreakable. However, as we have seen, cracks may surface when personal ambition, legal pressures, and international scrutiny test their limits. Each man stands as a reflection of the other's political brand, yet they also appear capable of diverging, sometimes quite unexpectedly, in public statements. Critics on both sides of the Atlantic voice concern that such personal entanglements threaten to muddle policymaking and the rule of law. When a leader invests so heavily in a single alliance, there is a risk that national interests become overshadowed by personal loyalty or vendettas. In Netanyahu's case, his supporters cheer for any assist that might help him dodge what they perceive as an unfair legal net. In Trump's case, the spectacle of championing Netanyahu draws media coverage that keeps him relevant, especially in the lead-up to political moments where his name resurfaces on the American stage. In this global chess match, every statement can serve multiple agendas at once. At the heart of the matter lays a web of unanswered questions that spin the mind. Will Netanyahu's trial ultimately conclude with a conviction or an acquittal? Will pressure from influential allies, including Trump, influence the proceedings? Could the Israeli president orchestrate a dramatic pardon, bypassing years of court battles? And perhaps most intriguingly, how might Trump's shifting tone on Israel, from glorifying its survival to chastising its military decisions, shape future alliances? If these compelling threads make you want to learn more, consider tapping that subscribe button so you never miss our in-depth dives into these riveting geopolitical crossroads. It helps us continue bringing you the most detailed insights around the globe. Another angle to consider is how regional powers observe this tense entanglement. Iran, often hailed as a key rival to Israel's regional dominance, keeps a wary eye on any friction in the U.S.-Israel alliance. The slightest sign of discord could embolden Tehran to test boundaries, whether in nuclear policy negotiations or in rhetoric aimed at destabilizing Middle Eastern alliances. Yet, in the same breath, American and Israeli defense cooperation remains robust, featuring intelligence sharing and joint exercises. Trump's reference to bombs being dropped against Iranian targets underscores a harsh realpolitik. While strong words of disapproval exist, the strategic partnership still wields formidable force, ready to be unleashed if deemed necessary. Netanyahu's inner circle scrambles to keep his leadership image intact, emphasizing that no legal saga can undermine the years of service he has dedicated to safeguarding Israel's position in a tumultuous region. Supporters highlight the Abraham Accords as a testament to Netanyahu's diplomatic achievements, forging normalized relations with several neighboring countries once deemed unreachable partners. However, detractors contend that achievements on the international stage should not exempt any leader from judicial accountability at home. After all, if allegations of corruption can be simply waved away by a powerful ally's decree, what safeguards remain to ensure justice and transparency in governance? Meanwhile, Trump's public statements serve as both a shield and a sword. By presenting Netanyahu as a fellow victim of political persecution, Trump extends his brand of populist rhetoric to an international audience. The moment resonates with those who champion their leaders as underdogs attacked by institutional forces. Yet this approach also invites censure from those who value an independent judiciary and caution against conflating public popularity with innocence in court. At the same time, by criticizing Israel's military actions, Trump positions himself as free from blind loyalty, intent on speaking his mind even when it conflicts with his usual stance. This dual strategy of condemnation and support keeps the world guessing about his true intentions. Historians will one day unravel the tradition of foreign leaders attempting to interfere or influence the legal processes of their allies. But for now, the drama remains in full swing. The parallel sagas of Trump and Netanyahu underscore a trend in modern politics. Polarizing figures, rallying fervent supporters with narratives of persecution, challenging the boundaries of institutional checks and balances. Their use of social media amplifies each proclamation. With a single post, they can elicit global reactions, overshadowing more measured diplomatic channels. Perhaps it is a sign of our era that headlines are forged by personalities who defy norms and relish the storm of attention that follows. Yet behind the curtain of sensational headlines, everyday Israelis grapple with the real consequences of political upheaval. Inflation, security threats, and the quest for stability in the region weigh heavily on voters' minds. For many, the drama around corruption allegations and trials distracts from urgent domestic issues that need addressing. Whether or not Netanyahu's legal woes end in exoneration, the scars left by the spectacle may linger. Questions of trust in the judiciary, fairness in political discourse, and the precarious balance of powers will remain at the forefront of Israeli public debate for years to come.